What is up, Valid Peeps? Cadian here. It's been a while, and I'm so sorry to keep you waiting for more content. I've been through a heck of a lot, not just in the past month and a half, but generally this year as a whole. As such, I thought I'd use this 3-year return anniversary video to talk about a big thing that I started this year. Therapy. And with it, dealing with anxiety. With all of that being said, let's get started. Unfortunately, I have got a little bit of an update before the video properly starts. Throughout this video, I do make a few mentions of my girlfriend, who at the time I originally recorded this video, I was still with. Sadly, as of last Tuesday though, I am no longer with them. Finer details I will steer clear of, but I have had therapy since then. My therapist taught me the grieful calming waves, and I was told I should be kind to myself and to let the feelings flow. This has taken quite a toll on me given how long we were together and how close we were, so if you don't hear from me for a while, that's part of why. With all of that in mind, you may now proceed with the rest of the video. So, my current therapist is not actually my first one. I had one for about a month early last year, who was picked up by my parents with my input, who they also saw separately from me. Generally though, I didn't really see eye to eye with this therapist, and my last appointment with them, by my request, had my parents too. This was when I told my parents I had been on HRT for 6 months and had legally changed my name the August prior, behind their backs because I knew it would have taken way longer with them knowing. They didn't take this information well at first, and this appointment was also when it was suggested to me by my therapist that I might have autism. My girlfriend had also pointed out I had a strong case for it, and since then I have noticed a lot of traits for it, and it's still undiagnosed if I do have it, but anyways. Now, my current therapist I've been seeing pretty much every week since the beginning of February, so for about 8 months now. To put it simply, they have been infinitely better than the one I saw previously. I think one of the key defining factors was that this one was picked out myself, albeit with a small bit of input from my parents, but the final decision was mine nonetheless. There's a handful of things I went into this wanting to talk through, among these being intrusive thoughts, my inability to be confrontational, and anxiety over both my parents being neutral about the genocide in Palestine. As sessions passed, new things I wanted to talk about came up, some more serious than others, including one incident that made me lose a lot of trust in my mother that I'd rather not go into detail on, and unfortunately discovering the company I work for refused to take a stance on the genocide in Palestine. Following that, I've had to start job hunting again, and it is certainly demotivating applying for jobs and never hearing back from employers. Of all the places I've applied for this year, I've only managed to get 2 interviews, the first of which could have gone way better, and the second which I thought was one of my best interview performances ever, but alas, I didn't get either. Generally, I've lost a lot of trust in people I thought I could this year, and in the past month, I came to the realization I was suffering pretty badly from general anxiety. Before realizing that though, I thought I had OCD because of how hyperspecific I am about a lot of things, and how often I practice magical thinking. Heck, even my girlfriend thought I had it, but thanks to my therapist, I realised it was just general anxiety. As far as I know, it's not to the point of being a disorder, but it has very much impacted my mental health this year, and it's basically the core reason behind why video frequency has dropped in the past few months, so I hope y'all can understand. In exploring my anxiety, I was also finally able to admit to myself that I had imposter syndrome in regards to my gender identity, which I have been able to recover from a bit in the past couple weeks, but I think it will take a lot longer for it to go away for good. Another exploration of my anxiety, and thanks to my girlfriend for helping me figure this out, was identifying a big source of it: my parents. Some of the stuff I've said up to this point should explain it, but there's also a few other things to point out too. First is the fact that I sometimes feel like they refuse to see me as neurodivergent, treating me more like a neurotypical person even though I'm very much not, what with my ADHD and potentially undiagnosed autism, the former having been diagnosed when I was about 5 or 6 years old. Now, The second one is a lot less certain and I don't have such solid grounds for it, but it's my parents' refusal to admit I'm trans. I can't say anything for my mum, but for my dad I do. All of my life he's called me mate, a term I perceive to be masculine. Since I realised I was trans, it's a term I've never liked being called, but for a good while into both him and me knowing I was trans, I was fine with him calling me it. In the past year, however, I've grown to dislike him using it on me, and what doesn't help matters is that he also calls my girlfriend that occasionally. She's trans too, which he's aware of, and the fact that I've never heard him call any cis woman that is definitely a cause for anxiety and concern. The third is disagreement on a couple world issues. Now, them being neutral on the genocide in Palestine was one thing, but I also don't agree with them on trans people in sports and issues surrounding immigration. While I unfortunately can't really back up my own stances on either, I myself can say for certain that trans people belong in sports, and that issues surrounding immigration are dramatically overblown. As far as I'm concerned, no human being is illegal, and I firmly stand by that. Honestly, from how I've noticed they generally are and how they've raised me, I feel they might have general anxiety themselves, but I can't be absolutely certain about that right now. If there's anything I want to end off this video with, it's advice for y'all. Therapy can seem daunting, but with the right therapist it can be a big help. It won't come without hard discussion topics or crying, but it is more than worth it, I can assure you. If it's something you feel you need, go for it, I promise you that it will be worth it. If you're watching this and already see a therapist, you're very brave for dealing with the issues you're facing, and I couldn't be more proud of you. I've heard those kind of words from my own therapist when dealing with my issues, and they felt more like of a parent than my own biological parents. And you genuinely have no idea how validating it is to hear that from such a figure. Last of all, talk to someone if something's on your mind. That is advice I constantly give to my own friends, and if you don't have anyone immediately around you that you can trust to tell your issues, a therapist can very much help with that. So, with all of that being said, I'll see all of you valid peeps next time.